Welcome back, coin hunters across America. Today we are diving into one of the most misunderstood quarters in United States history, the 1965 Washington quarter. Now, before you think this is just another ordinary pocket change coin, let me stop you right there, because this coin represents one of the biggest turning points in American coinage history. And yes, there are versions of this coin that collectors search for every single day. But this is not about hype. This is not about scams. This is not about fake promises. This is about real history, real mint, changes, and real collectible value that serious collectors understand. So stay with me, because what you are about to learn could completely change how you look at every 1965 quarter in your pocket right now. Let us begin. In 1965, the United States was going through major economic changes. Silver prices were rising rapidly, and Americans were starting to hoard silver coins. That includes quarters, dimes, and half dollars, because before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. Yes, real silver. That meant each coin had intrinsic metal value. But when silver prices started increasing, people began melting coins for profit. This created a massive shortage in circulation. The United States government had to act fast. So, in 1965, the U.S. Mint made one of the biggest decisions in modern coin history. They removed silver from quarters. That means the 1965 Washington quarter was the first year of the copper-nickel clad composition. Instead of 90% silver, the coin became a layered structure. Outer layers of copper-nickel, with a pure copper core inside. This change saved the U.S. currency system, and it changed coin collecting forever. Now here is where things get interesting, because many people believe all 1965 quarters are common, and in terms of regular circulation that is mostly true. But there are still valuable variations, errors, and special conditions that collectors actively look for. First, let us talk about the composition itself. The 1965 quarter does not contain silver in standard form. However, there is something very important to understand. During the transition period, some 1964, silver plancets were accidentally used in early 1965 production runs. That means extremely rare 1965 quarters struck on silver plancets exist. These are not common. These are not everyday finds. These are rare mint errors, and when authenticated, they can be worth significantly more than face value. Collectors look for these coins using weight tests and professional verification. A standard 1965 clad quarter weighs approximately 5.67 grams. A silver quarter would weigh around 6.25 grams. That difference may seem small, but to collectors it is everything. Now let us talk about mint marks. In 1965, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from coins. That means 1965 quarters do not have a mint mark regardless of whether they were produced in Philadelphia or Denver. This decision was part of the anti-hoarding strategy. The mint wanted to discourage collectors from targeting specific locations. So for 1965 only, you will not find mint marks on quarters. That makes the year unique in U.S. coin history. Now let us move into value. Most 1965 quarters in circulated condition are worth face value, 25 cents. However, condition matters. If you find a 1965 quarter in extremely high mint state condition graded by professional services, it can carry premium value. Why? Because preserving coins from that year in pristine condition was not common. These coins circulated heavily for decades, so high-grade examples are harder to find. Collectors and grading companies evaluate them carefully. Now let us talk about mint errors. This is where excitement increases. Error coins from 1965 can include double die strikes, off-center strikes, clipped plancets, lamination errors, and strike-through errors. Each of these errors occurs during the minting process. They are not fake. They are not created after the fact. They happen during production, and collectors love them. For example, a dramatic off-center strike can significantly increase interest depending on visibility and condition. Another exciting possibility is the double die variety. although not extremely common in 1965 quarters compared to other years. Some minor doubling varieties exist that collectors search for. Now let us discuss another shocking aspect. Because 1965 was the first year of clad coinage, the mint was still adjusting production techniques. This transition period increased the chance of production anomalies, and transition years are always important in coin collecting. Whenever metal composition changes, whenever mint marks change, whenever design modifications occur, value potential often increases in rare circumstances. Now let us talk about grading. Condition is everything in numismatics. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state 70. A 1965 quarter, in average circulated condition, will not bring premium value, but a sharply struck high-grade example can attract collector attention, especially if certified by professional grading services. Now let us address myths. There are many online claims about extremely high values for common 1965 quarters. Most of these claims are exaggerated. A regular circulated 1965 quarter is generally worth face value, but rare error versions or silver, planchet mistakes are the true high-value possibilities. Serious collectors focus on verified characteristics, not rumors. Now let us talk about why this coin matters historically. The 1965 Washington quarter represents stability during economic change. It shows how the United States adapted to rising silver costs. It reflects government policy decisions that shaped modern coinage. And it marks the beginning of the clad era, which continues today. Every quarter you use now descends from that decision in 1965. That makes this coin historically important, not because it is rare in general circulation, but because it represents transformation. Now imagine this. You are sorting through a jar of old coins. You see a 1965 quarter. Most people would ignore it, but now you know. You check the weight, you inspect the edge, you look for unusual strike characteristics, you examine condition carefully, because knowledge creates opportunity. That is what coin collecting is about. Education, patience, and attention to detail. And that is why collectors respect transition year coins. Now let us summarize the key points. The 1965 Washington quarter was the first clad quarter in U.S. history. It contains no silver in standard production. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams. No mint marks were used that year. Some rare error varieties exist. High-grade certified examples may carry premium value. Silver planchet errors are extremely rare and highly sought after. The coin represents a major turning point in American monetary history. So, if you are in the United States and you come across a 1965 quarter, do not assume it is worthless. Most are common, but rare versions exist. And understanding the difference is what separates casual observers from serious collectors. Coin collecting is not about hype. It is about history. It is about knowledge. It is about careful examination. And sometimes it is about discovering something unexpected in ordinary places. The 1965 Washington quarter may look simple, but it tells a powerful story of economic change, mint innovation, and the beginning of a new era in American coinage. So next time you see one, take a closer look, because every coin has a story, and some stories are more valuable than they appear at first glance. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1965 Washington quarter, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real coin history insights from across America. Stay alert, stay informed, and keep hunting.